Hi everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light, Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. I have something special for you today. It's totally spontaneous. I didn't intend to do this. Sat down at my desk to do tarot scopes for May and straight away got an image of an elderly man in a bow tie with facial hair. Immediately thought of some US presidents. I went through, I couldn't really see that person. I'm not sure who that was, so we just park him. When I went back into my third eye, my clairvoyance, I got what appeared to be the formation of Martin Luther King Jr.'s face. Now, I thought, wow, I'm overawed there. Is this really what I'm seeing? And I saw somebody riding a bike and the bike wheel was wobbling a bit and then going straight. And I thought, okay, that's a validation point. That's evidentiary stuff. Let's see if Martin Luther King rode a bicycle. Well, then I Googled it and I got that. And even the angle of the wheel. And I thought, wow. So this is Martin Luther King wanting to come in. So let's see what he has to say. And why is he here today? Sorry about that noise. I dropped my iPad. Okay, let me just give me a minute to reconnect with him. Now I know. Okay. At one point, he would have worn a very thin pencil moustache. I'm not sure why I'm seeing that. I'm just going to give you the images that I am seeing. I'm also seeing a diamond ring. I'm not sure what is the significance of that, except that diamonds are forged over a long period of time. And so they don't necessarily get to their brilliance, early or quick. And so this could be a metaphor for what is occurring at this time in the world. He's telling me it is. In order to create and shape that diamond, it takes time. After this session, I'll go back and read up on how a diamond is made. And also the piercing intensity of the diamond. It's not the first time I've got the diamond drill shattering, piercing glass. I got that before January the 6th. I gave you that image and I said it was in relation to what could be happening on January the 6th. And I saw that drill piercing the glass. Now the glass then shattering. We had a lot of shattering of glass at the storming of the Congress, the attempted coup. But it also did something else. It also showed us very clearly what was behind the curtain. There was no way of, ignoring that energy, that movement that was in the US at that time. That would attempt to override democracy. So I'm feeling there is a straight line here. When I say a straight line, it kind of wobbles and then it gets straight in relation to what is occurring in terms of justice. Now, there is that famous quote that of King's that Obama was like to quote about the arc of is it the moral? Anyway, I'll put it down below. Don't need to quote it for me. I'll let you know what it is down below the video. But it rarely is straight. It does curve always back to justice. And I think this is the message that he's wanting to give today. All right, Mr. King, again, my stand on wanting to do, not wanting to do gratuitous channelings, but Mr. King's face came into view and he gave me that image. He's still showing me that ring, and the bright glowing stone in the ring. Okay, oh yeah. Okay, so what we're doing now is we are piercing a hole in the darkness here, the veil, the dark veil, and we are letting light in. And if you look behind me, you will see the light. I leave the curtains open on purpose to let the light in, because once that light touches you, once you let it fill you, then you start or can start to experience the love. And love wipes away everything else. We are seeing beautiful, wondrous examples of that for the Ukrainians at the moment, following the invasion of Russia. Russia has today announced it wants to press on and invade and conquer the southern areas of Ukraine, and then into Moldavia territory currently, well, territory of Moldavia. Imperialistic expansion and the carnage of the loss of life, the bodies that is left behind on that march toward conquering imperialism. It's an old energy, an ancient energy, which never, never, never ends up benefiting the imperialistic force. In fact, King is telling me, Mr. King is telling me, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is telling me that this will set Russia back for decades and decades. And this is a permanent stain on Russia and Vladimir Putin. He won't be remembered as great. He will be remembered as a killer. And he understands that. He understands that's how karma works. You reap literally what you sow, and he has sown death. He's talking also, of course, he's showing me a cross, and he's obviously talking about forgiveness. It's like he wants to butt in there. And he's saying that part of the healing and grieving process is when the Ukrainians will eventually forgive their neighbours for killing them. That moment will come too, just as it has throughout history. I'm feeling an immense sadness now, an immense sadness for the need, for the process of forgiveness, for the process that the sacrifice that it takes. But it's all part of the fabric of life. There's something about me that's never really accepted that there has to be so much pain and suffering to weave the beautiful tapestry of life, and that all these threads are interconnected to form the tapestry. And if we can just stand back and look upon that, we will grow strong. Okay. That was pretty intense feelings and channelings and images I was getting there. So I am seeing the unexpected, that it will occur in ways that we can't see yet. I do see a huge... I do believe that there will be help go in to Ukraine. Should they have done it beginning? Should they have done it at the beginning? There's such a thing as divine timing, and Reverend Martin Luther King is telling me even his death, his assassination, was part of divine timing, because it is the strength of these. I was going to say residues, energetic residues that remain for a long time. And so that is also a process of what I would call karma. Christians might call it something else. The memory of original sin. I mean, whichever way, whichever language you want to use to cut it. It's about the intensity of what remains after something extremely profound. And so again, that tapestry, it helps to move the threads in a particular direction. And so there is such a thing as divine timing. Oh, gosh. It's exhausting though. I see a mountain pass, basically, and the light at the end of the mountain pass. I have seen that image a lot in the last 4 or 5 years of channeling work. There is a way through the mountain. There is a pathway we can take that is easier even than climbing the mountain. There is a pathway forward. So there's not much value in eulogizing and ignoring the mortal, like the mortal mistakes, the mortal failings. And he said he had those, but it is that which allows you to make choices. Putin has ignored all of that. Putin has chosen darkness, because I asked him what he thought, what Reverend Martin Luther King thought of Vladimir Putin, and he said he has turned away from the light. He has chosen darkness, but he has obviously that role to fulfill, to create change. I'm asking him why we have to even go through all of this. And, he comes back to each of us have a destiny and a purpose. And those around us, whether they be countries or relatives or loved ones or lovers or haters, or they have a role to fulfill as well in the growth of the soul. The collective, as my readings have indicated, he's just showing me huge leaps forward at this time, even though we don't think so. Huge, swift leaps forward. Chasms, we are crossing chasms that we would not have crossed before. It's a quickening. It is a quickening. What happens with the quickening? You have a rebirth. He says, be gentle upon yourself. He says, look gently upon yourself. That makes me sad too. Because when others don't look gently upon you, that has an impact, that has an effect. And if we can ourselves, in ourselves, of ourselves, by ourselves, look gently upon ourselves, then we can restore that loving feeling of self and withstand what others might dish out to us in their collective evolution. It reminds me of, I've posted it on my Facebook, a little dog called Patron in the Ukraine. That little dog is sniffs out bombs and has sniffed out about 90 bombs so far. He's a little Jack Russell Terrier. He's dressed in a little bomb-proof vest with the Ukrainian flag on him, and he and his handler are going and removing the bombs that have been left behind in civilian homes, civilian streets, civilian areas, to clean that up. They've been left behind by Russia. Behind by Russia. Now, that little dog, it's a, all creatures great and small. That little dog is saving lives. I do daily now put a little orb of light around that little dog. So the gentleness there, the gentleness. There's a fob watch that he is showing me. Again, it's more than divine timing. This is around, there is a time limit on this destruction in Ukraine that has already been ordained, that has already been decided by the powers that be, by the heavens. And so there will come a time when Russia will be pushed back. There will come a time that when that peace negotiation, that huge table that does not include Vladimir Putin, occurs, and Russia is not does not have a good bargaining position. In fact, they're trying to strike an accord to bring their country back from the brink of financial collapse. He says those soldiers that committed atrocities, those Russian soldiers that have committed atrocities in Ukraine, must make their peace with their maker. They will have to live, given this is a defining moment in world history, just as those that were responsible for the Holocaust in Germany, they will have to live with this for decades to come. They will be associated with this genocide in Ukraine. Now, I want to go to Vladimir Putin again. I just asked Reverend King why he was here with me on this at this time, and he goes back to the gentleness, going back to the need to be gentle on ourselves, not to take on the guilt and the shame of this invasion of Russia into Ukraine, but to understand that it is time limited, that there is an outcome that will see the end of bloodshed in Ukraine, and that Putin knows this is an unwinnable war. He already knows that. He already knows his time is limited as well. That clock watch, fob watch, clock watch, is for him as much as it is for the death and destruction that's currently occurring in Ukraine. Okay, let's see. Can you show me? He's showing me a map I'm looking for things that I can validate. I don't know what his position was on world affairs, but he's showing me a world map, and he is saying that we're all part of the one nation, including Russia. I mean, that's my irony, not his. He said that he's showing me a star in the night sky and a window, and he's giving me an eastern direction when the star is in the east. Again, that seems to me like a biblical reference there. I did get the Hierophant come up in my previous readings. Ukraine, the Pope consecrated Ukraine and Russia under the protection of Mother Mary. If you follow the Catholic religion, you will understand the significance of that and who that is. I just see this blue light over Ukraine. So Catholic, Orthodox, no religion at all. This is one nation, one people. He's even saying one body, which I find is one physical body in a way. The soul and the body. The soul, I understand, is connected to others, and what occurs with the soul manifests into the body. So there's a need to be, not to take on the guilt and the shame of one part of the collective, but to also be gentle with ourselves, manifest gentleness. I used the word tranquility a few readings ago. Dare I say tranquility? All right. Okay, stepping stones. He's showing me stepping stones. There will be stepping stones for us as we cross over this river. I feel that's a message around passing away. And stepping stones are the sum total of how we've lived our lives, because we know where to tread next. We know where to put our foot next. The river could be a reference to the river Styx in mythology. Live your life well is what he's saying to me. Live your life well. That's a message for the collective, for the individual. Take it however you wish to take it. So I'm just going to pull I'm just going to pull cards. Okay. It's what deck is correct. Let's see what he wants me to use. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry, I should have had this worked out. But again, as I say, it was a unplanned session. Okay. All right, we'll use the Aquarian deck here, because this is Aquarius energy that is manifesting at this time. For those who are astrologers or follow astrology, you know the significance of the major planets, Jupiter, Saturn, moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. And of course, in a few years, as I was reminded by astrologer Jessica Adams on Twitter, Pluto moves out of Capricorn, I think it's 2023, into Aquarius. This is Aquarius energy. Aquarius is about what's best for the whole, what is best for the group, manifesting what is best for the group in all sorts of ways. Queen of Pentacles, stability, manifesting stability. And ways to reach stability too. It's not just a blanket, yeah, the earth will be more stable come 2023, 24. It's around how do we create stability for all of us. And Aquarius is also about innovation. Okay. What are the final messages, please, Mr. Reverend King? What are the final messages? Streets, European streets. And I'm seeing balloons and celebrations. The war will end in Europe. And we have the Lovers card with stronger ties, stronger alliances. If you are my viewers from places in Europe that are feeling a little bit on the defensive, it will be okay. It will be okay. I saw a graph I read on a question from a viewer from Estonia. Estonia is second to the US in the amount of military aid they've provided to Ukraine. Estonia, 1.34 million people, second to the US in the amount of assistance given to Ukraine. Let that sink in. This is a David and Goliath battle of biblical proportions. Okay, final messages, Mr. Reverend King. Pardon my disrespect. I'm not a so-called religious type of person, so I don't usually use those terminologies. Okay. No, he says that's not a failing. It's not a failing. Don't allow other people to impose their standards on you. Be gentle with yourself. Okay, final messages, please, Reverend King. Final messages. Yeah, there are guards. There are people watching over us. The Knight of Cups, an offer of love. The Knight of Cups, emotional energy. It's all about love. With Reverend King, it's all about love. Why am I not surprised? An offer of love. And we have the Seven of Swords, the part of ourselves that steals. Someone reminded me that 2 sevens equate to the letter Z, that the Russians are using as a symbol. You know, it's part of a Nazi symbol as well. You know, who's kidding who? It's about stealing what doesn't belong to you. It's about taking something that doesn't belong to you. And it doesn't matter how you rationalize it, that's what you're doing. We have the Chariot, my friend, the Chariot. Yes, we are on the Chariot ride. And this is part of it for me as well. I didn't intend to do this today. But aren't I lucky that I did? 6 of Cups again. So many cups. The past, our highest selves, coming back to our highest selves. Queen of Swords. Yeah. Strategies, planning, strength. The Ace of Swords, strength in the truth, coming back to the strength in the truth and never doubt it. Never, never doubt that. The Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, female energy, fearless energy, brave energy. Here we dissolve the old paradigm of gender here. This is all universal energies. It's got nothing to do whether I'm female or male. Well, I'm not male, but in a past life I could have been. Nothing to do with that. We are standing our ground. We are moving forward with courage and with a plan, even though it doesn't seem like it. Ooh, Knight of Pentacles. Okay, what are we moving towards? Strength and stability. This knight is the slowest moving knight in the pack, but gets to that destination through deliberate moves. Three of Pentacles, in the hope that we come together. We come together in a way that is open and transparent and visible. We come together for the benefit of the group, of the whole, and not for the benefit of the empires that we are building ourselves and those around us, the oligarchy. So we come together to build and rebuild something that benefits the whole. We have the Hangman. Part of this is looking at things in another way. Again, the ending of the invasion, but also the huge learning. This is sacrifice as well. The Hanged Man is associated with sacrifice. This is strong in him. It's important that I make this point for the history, the lessons, the learning to remain for decades to come, clarified by the sun. We're coming through this, the light in the darkness. It just grows. It just grows. And we've got victory here, victory for the light, victory over darkness. Now, the underlying energies, of course, are going to be heartbreak. This, as I've said, for me, the Ten of Swords is the death card. The death card to me represents an ending of something, but the Ten of Swords talks about death, sacrifice, death, heartbreak, and the need to never experience this again through strength, through reflection and through isolating those that are seeking this destruction. There is movement, huge movement forward at this time on this earth right now, and the Russian army and Putin will not win. Okay, I'm hearing Ukraine is great, is a great nation in the years to come. Ukraine is being forged right now as a nation of bearing and status. The Ukrainian people, we are learning from their sacrifice. We are learning from them. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. As I said, I didn't intend this. I just want to thank Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. for coming forward, showing me that image again of the bicycle. I'm going out for a ride on my bicycle shortly. A way to get from A to B in such a gentle way that you actually do notice what is around you as you're cycling. It's one of the reasons I love cycling so much. On your bike. Okay. All right. So, thank you very much for coming forward today, for answering my call. I asked who wanted to speak to me, and your face showed, and I hadn't been thinking about you. This was totally spontaneous. But he's saying there's so much energy in spontaneity, more than what we actually really do know, because we are not putting preconceived or predetermined pathways in front of us. We go where we feel we must. Okay, thank you again. Thank you, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you for coming forward and speaking with us today. Thank you for your greatness.